Hi, I'm Lindsey Morgan. I'm doing this interview for the lovely Vina, who runs my fan page and is amazing and has been asking me to do this interview for her for literally a decade, and I'm such a jerk. I've been taking forever. But it's only because I want to do a really good job, Vina, and as you see, I'm doing my best. All right, let's get started. I want to keep this, watchable so I don't just ramble. Okay, question one. I'm conducting this myself, so I'm the asker and the answerer. Okay. Question one. What's your favorite thing about being a Texan girl? There's so many things, but favorite thing, I guess, would have to be, God, I was going to pick one. Now there's so many. Okay, one, the food. I really love meat. So I love steak a lot. So in Texas, steak is really cheap. So I really appreciate that, Texas. Two, I guess it's tied, is also I love Texas's attitude. It's a total really thinks it's its own country. But the pride of it, don't mess with Texas and everything's bigger and better in Texas, and it's just funny. I just think it's cute and fun, and it's definitely a cool place to be from because it has that awesome attitude that's really fun to do. And three, I love the South. Just because the people are great. They're chill. They're open. They'll just hang out with you and have a drink, and I love that. All right, second question. What was it like being an extra on Friday Night Lights? Lena did her research. Yes, extra on Friday Night Lights was definitely my first legit anything. And I definitely feel that any actor should be an extra at least once in their life just to earn their stripes and pay their dues, because it's not a walk in the park. And it's some of it, I think, sometimes you can have fun, but for the most part, it's not the most exciting thing. But it's great to learn, how a set works and to see how movies are made. Okay, what mine was like. My experience was cold, wet, and hungry. Um, I was a cheerleader, and we were doing a night game and cheering on the sides, and it just rained the entire time. And I think it was in December, and it was so cold, and I wasn't prepared for any of it. And I was just in this little skimpy cheer uniform and just kind of dying. And then also, the food wasn't that great. It was Nature Valley granola bars and fruit snacks. But all the other extras brought food because they knew what it was like, but I did not. So that kind of sucked. But other than that, it was really fun because it was just so new and magical, and and it was my first time seeing how anything is made, and it was just really cool to do all that. Okay, next question. I'm trying to not take too long and talk too much. Okay. Vina asks, the writer struggled with writing Christina outside of Trey. What would you like to see for Christina? Little backstory. I portrayed Christina Davis Corinthos on General Hospital for about a year ago. She's been, a character on there since infancy, but I played her at the ripe age of, I think she was 20. No, 19. 20. She was 20. The ripe age of 20. 2021. I did end up drinking at one point. Yeah. Okay. I do agree that the writing definitely pinned Trey and Christina together for a long time, and Christina never really seemed to have her own independence in the stories. It always kind of had to do with, her love affair with Trey and everything, which is good, which is, that's what people like to see. But if it was up to me, I would have loved to see Christina more independent, because her whole story, her whole maturity into womanhood and adulthood was always about being with the guy. So if it was up to me, I would want Christina to not have a guy, not have a dude, and be a badass. And my kind of dream thing was that she would team up with her dad and run the mob. And I just love the idea of Sonny not wanting his baby girl to do that, but Christina going in and kicking ass and like taking it over. And I think that would be awesome and totally shake up Port Charles because Christina never had a job, so she had something to do besides pine over a boy. Okay, next question. Tell everyone a little bit about your upcoming show, The 100, on the CW, and what's the scoop on your character, Raven. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think of this, keep it short and sweet. The 100 is a book the show is based on a book also called The 100 by a woman named Lindsey Morgan, and it's a great story, but it's basically about Earth in the future, and after nuclear war, no one has survived on Earth, and the only humans surviving are people that were in space stations when nuclear bombs went off on Earth at this giant war. And so these people in the space stations were they weren't prepared. So the entire like human race is whoever just happened to be in space that day, luckily. So they've been surviving for about 100 years that way, and like, resources are going low and they don't have much like raw material for anything to create anything. They can't go back to Earth because of the radiation, and they don't have enough like fuel or technology to frontier a new planet. So they're just on the space station in space. So 100 years go by, and the space station called the Ark, appropriately named in my opinion, is dying, and soon it doesn't have the capability to sustain all the life that's on it. And so the people on there are screwed. Like, are we just going to wait and die in space? So the council and the government on the space station decide the only other option they have besides waiting for the bitter end just to come is to go back to Earth and see if Earth is livable anymore. Of course, they have no idea. All they know is about the toxicity of the entire planet, and that's basically a death trap. But they think, that's the only option. So they get this bright idea to send 100 kids or juvenile delinquents, 100 people that are under 18 that were in prison or juvie on the Ark or on the space station. So they send 100 teenage criminals to Earth and basically, a suicide mission, because they 99% think you'll die if you step foot on Earth soil. So they decide this is what they're gonna do, and so the whole story is the ramifications of that, and they do it all in secret, and they don't tell the rest of the people on the space station, because obviously they'd probably have some issues with that, about sending children that are, dangerous and sending them to their death in a mass quantity. That's not cool. So that's kind of about that, and like what the trials and tribulations they face on Earth if they get there, and also what's going to happen to the society on the space station. So there's a lot of places that goes. My character, her name is Raven Reyes. She is unfortunately not in the first episode that is premiering this Wednesday, March 19th, 9 o'clock, CW, be there. But she comes in the second episode, and she's awesome. I don't want to spoil anything, but what I can tell you is she's not a part of the 100, so she's not a juvenile delinquent, but she is like a total badass. She's super smart. She's definitely a guy's girl. She's a zero-G space mechanic, like one of the youngest they've had in like 50 years on the Ark. So she knows her stuff. She can build like anything. She's super logical and just like really fierce and really strong. She didn't have the best upbringing, so she's pretty she doesn't trust a lot of people. So even as strong and independent as she is, there's definitely like a very lonely side to her too. So you get to see her in action and figure stuff out. That's cool.